As an agent, you'll be considered your carrier's field underwriter, with tasks and duties related to the process. While they may seem simple in scope and nature, they're crucial for your insurance company. Your carriers will count on you for accurate and reliable information. You're typically the first person in contact with the insured. At the same time, your client will rely on your expertise and knowledge to guide them through the application process. We'll start by looking at the nature and purpose of field underwriting and work into the application and its various parts. One of the first things newly licensed agents learn are the underwriting guidelines your carrier uses. And they are guidelines rather than rules. This is intentional. This allows for some flexibility on the part of the insurance company because not every risk submitted meets every underwriting guideline. There are proper times to collect initial premiums from a client, but there are also times when you should not take premiums from the applicant. If a premium is taken from an insured, you must give them a receipt acknowledging the transaction, and you'll see there are different types of receipts. Which one you will use depends on the situation at the time. We'll also discuss submitting the application to the insurance company, and if a policy is issued, it must be delivered to the applicant promptly. There may also be scenarios where the policy should not be delivered unless certain other things occur. Another subject we'll get into is that of the protections that must be in place to safeguard confidentiality and why clear communication between you and your client is important. Part of that communication will be discussing the legalities associated with a number of these reports. You need to be able to explain to a client why the carrier might run a credit report on an applicant. The average consumer might not understand why an insurance company would run a credit report on them. As part of the segment, we'll also explore the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, or HIPAA. Then you'll be introduced to a consumer database not many people know about. It's called the Medical Information Bureau, or MIB. This is a database for life and health insurers that contain coded medical information on consumers and is primarily used as a fraud prevention tool. Then we'll examine the general concept of contracts and move into some of the more unique areas of contract law within the insurance industry. These will be topics like parties to contracts, required elements of a contract, and terms associated with the insurance industry. We'll also explore the requirement to have an insurable interest when applying for a health or life insurance policy. Insurable interest can take many forms, and we'll look at a few examples. This will lead into the legal aspects of statements made on applications for insurance. Sometimes people forget things or misremember dates, but insurance applications usually take this into account. But sometimes it's worse than a simple misstatement. People do lie on insurance applications. Fortunately, it doesn't happen often, and there are laws and rules to take this into account as well. But fraud is handled differently than unintentional misstatements on an application, and we'll touch on that. Finally, the lesson takes a focused look at replacement of existing policies. Replacement can either be a good or bad thing, and will provide you with guidance and information on whether replacement is warranted.